Tonight on Football Tonight, Lafayette looking to bounce back from a Week 1 loss in their home opener tonight. Mid Buchanan coming off a decisive win in Week 1, looking for more against another GRC opponent. And the defending 8-man state champions Mound City trying to prove why they deserve to so be the top team in the state. All that and much more coming up on Football Tonight.
What a night it's been. Thank you for joining us on Football Tonight. Week 2 in Missouri, Week 1 in Kansas. I'm Chris Roush. For the next 30 minutes, scores, highlights, and interviews in the works. And Adam Arduna, come on in here right there. See right there. Still love this whole social distancing thing.
Hey, we're making it work.
Exactly. We get us both in the studio within distance. It's fine.
That's right. It's been fun to be able to get another week of high school football. We are here in studio. We got a lot of highlights to give you tonight.
That's right, Adam. We got plenty to get to, but as you probably already know, one game canceled this week, Savannah versus Lathrop, for COVID-19 related issues. But the show goes on, and we start on the north side tonight. Home opener at Alumni Stadium for the Fighting Irish against Atchison. This week's opener for Kansas early in the second. Xavier Cushenberry gets the handoff. He powered at the middle for being brought down just shy of the end zone. And then Atchison, though, gives it to Cushenberry again, and he's going to do the work this time. Gets into the end zone. Atchison goes up 7-0. Then they get the ball again a little bit later on. This time it's Patrick Denton, drops back to pass, but he gets picked off by Derek May, and he takes it back to the right around the 30-yard line. Then a little bit later on, this one Lafayette gets some momentum going in this ball game. They needed it. It was back and forth in the early part of this one. This one right here, check out this play right here. It's going to be really close on the side. The running back looks like he's in bounds. He gets the pylon. They're going to rule him out just shy, but it doesn't matter on the next play. Lafayette gets into the end zone. Irish at 14-7. They're going to win this one by a final score of 28-7.
Central coming off of a 29-0 Week 1 victory over Ruskin last week. Indians on the road this week against North Kansas City, but coming out with a loss, 47-6. North Kansas City beats Central. Central returns home next week to host Belton. Well, St. Joseph Christian on the road this week, looking for a bounce-back win down in Plattsburgh. Plattsburgh with a new stadium, looking good. Early first quarter here, Tigers with the ball. Caden Carter drops back to pass, finds a wide-open Nathaniel McNew, stumbles but keeps his feet. The Tigers take a 14-0 lead. St. Joe Christian looking for their first points of the game. Low snap for Caleb Carlson, trying to find a man downfield, but is picked off by Nate Close, who takes it the distance. That's a pick six for the Tiger defense. Now Lions having a hard time getting something going in this game. Turn the ball back over to Plattsburgh. Tigers firing on all cylinders in the first half. Carter again looking to throw. Beautiful ball here. Hits Cameron Dake over the shoulder. That's another Tiger touchdown. Plattsburgh gets the big win tonight, 51-6.
Senior night on the south side tonight we go. Benton Cardinals hosting Pleasant Hill non-conference game. Let's go to the second quarter of this one. Pleasant Hill up 6-0. Cardinals driving. Garrison Dydell making some guys miss. Picks up a good chunk of hard-fought yards. I'm getting there. Benton forced the punt, though, on the drive. On the punt, Zach Redwine looks like he has nowhere to go on the return, but finds a lane. More or less makes his own lane. Bounces off would-be tacklers. Gets through, gets a couple of blocks, and guess what? He finds an opening down the sideline. Pleasant Hill goes up 12-0. The Roosters with the early advantage in the second quarter. Now stay in the second. Pleasant Hill driving again, threatening to score. This time, Benton defense coming up huge. Brock Kohler drops back, looking to the end zone, but the pass picked off by Devin Hoffman. What a play by the sophomore defensive back, but Pleasant Hill scores one more time before the end of the half, takes a 19-0 lead at the break. We're going to win this one by a final score of 42-6.
Still plenty to come on Football Tonight. Coming up after the break, Mid Buchanan Dragons coming off back-to-back state semifinal appearances, taking on Maysville in their home opener.
And the Spoofhounds back up in Maryville for their home opener tonight, looking for a bounce-back performance. Highlights still to come on Football Tonight.
Give it all you got. Give it all you got.
Welcome back. The Maryville Spoof Hounds, one of the best programs over the course of the last decade. Multiple state titles, always for the top of the Midland Empire Conference the last few years. Maryville's open with Blair Oaks, another fantastic program. But last week, though, when they met, tough go for Maryville, missing some guys, but they're looking to bounce back this week in week 2 at home. Connor Drake in the start for Maryville. That's BishopLLU and North Andrew. And we'll get back to there. We go. Connor Drake in there for Maryville tonight. Injured Ben Walker, Matt Webb's guys looking for early success after a failed onside kick by Harrisonville to open the game. Maryville makes them pay. First play from scrimmage, and he's gone. Caden Steckline finds a seam. Touchdown Maryville. Head coach Matt Webb really liking what he's seeing. He's firing up on this one. Hounds out to a quick 8-0 lead. A little later after Wildcat turnover, Hounds back to work inside the 5. Touchdown Maryville, 16-0. Maryville rolling early in this one. Drake able to connect with his receivers early in this ball game. They really kind of controlled the first half of this one. Spoof-Hounds moving the ball here. One of these plays right here gets him down inside. Good field position. Just a little bit later on, they're going to give it off to the fullback. Trey Houchin punches it in. 24-0 at this point, but a power outage puts a halt to this game. They get back going. Harrisonville takes the lead in the third quarter, 32-6, but Maryville outlasts them with a fourth quarter comeback, winning 42-40.
Also tonight around the Midland Empire Conference in Kirksville tonight, Chillicothe trying to grab their first win of the season. Not able to do so. Kirksville gets the win over the Hornets, 27-21. And down in Kansas City, Cameron taking on Southeast. The Dragons with a shutout victory on the road, winning big tonight, 42-0. And still to come on football tonight, the Mid Buchanan Dragons coming off back-to-back state semifinal appearances, taking on Maysville in their home opener.
On football tonight at the 8-man level, BishopLLU at home for the first time in 2020, hosting North Andrew. Highlights still to come on football tonight.
Give it all you got. Take your best shot. Give it all you got.
And welcome back to football tonight here on KQ2. The Mid Buchanan Dragons have made it to back-to-back Class 1 state semifinal appearances.
In the first year, the Dragons made more of a surprise run to the semifinals. Last year, though, the Mid-Buck Dragons powered its way through the season and made it once again. The team follows the old mantra, one game at a time, but the expectations still there this year. Down in Fawcett we go tonight. Dragons hosting 1-0 Maysville in a KCRG Crossover first quarter after Wolverines punt. Dragons quarterback Javen Noyes after TJ running. You have to wrap him up quickly. If not, he'll do this. Down the sidelines, nobody's catching TJ Runyon. Goes in for the first score of the night. Dragons strike first up 7-0. And celebrations don't always work. Stay on your feet when you're jumping. Come on. Move ahead. Still in the first. Problems for Maysville. Ball on the ground. Fumble. Dragons recover. Cage Burns jumps on it. Mid-Buck up 14-0 a little bit later on in the first quarter still. And guess what? They go back to the running back, Runyon. This one inside the 10-yard line, out of the gun. Noyes is going to take the snap and give it right to the running back. Runyon right through the middle, extends through, over the line. Touchdown, Mid Buchanan. Dragons roll 73-8 to move to 2-0 on the season. And here joining us tonight is the head coach of the Mid Buchanan Dragons, Aaron Fritz. And Coach, congrats on the win. 2-0 start. Just tonight, though, out to that quick start, the offense moving. Defense made some quick stops, too. Is that kind of what got these guys going?
Yeah, I thought we came out and played with a lot of fire and did a lot of really good things tonight. And I was really proud of our guys for playing fast and doing what we asked them to do. I was really proud of our effort all night, and I'm excited that we got better from week one. We found a way to get better and made ourselves much more competitive in a lot of aspects of the game.
Coach, talk about Runyon's performance tonight. He's really made some splashes early. Talk about what he's been able to do for your team this year.
Yeah, TJ is pretty good. And once I got out of his way last year, we were able to get him the ball a little bit more and show what he could do. So he's a special young man. He really works hard for us. He's a good leader. He's a good role model for our young kids. And we're gonna enjoy all the time we have with him because, like you said, he's a senior, and we're really gonna miss him while he's gone. So while he's here, we're gonna enjoy every moment with him because he's such a good young man and such a good leader for us.
Coach, we've talked about it back in the preview and everything. The expectations for this group, I think they also had those expectations of getting back, not just to the semifinals, and I know it's one game at a time, But how does this group kind of stay collected? Like, they're not just winning close games right now here in these first 2 weeks. They're taking care of business. What makes this group give like that?
Well, I think something that's benefited us is we kind of had an extra year of practice. We played basically an extra season the last 2 years, once you count all the playoff games and practices. So the experience we have from that makes a big difference, because when you start playing those younger guys, they're not as nervous when they go in the game when you're asking them to have a bigger role on things. So I think that benefited us when our seniors now were freshmen and they were thrown into the fire, and we had all those practices when they were young. And now our young guys are being led by our older guys, and we have a lot of player-led stuff going on. And I think it's because we've had those extra practices and basically an extra season together, where everybody knows what's expected. We know what we're here to do, and we're here to get better each day. And I think the player-led stuff is really what's made us a lot better football team.
And Coach, speaking on that with player-led practices and meetings and groups, what does that say about your team? You guys have all this experience, you have depth. Just talk about that, expand about that a little bit more.
Well, a good example would be tonight is we gave up a long kickoff return to them, and we had two seniors come sprint to the sidelines. So we had to sprint off the field, and they both came over and said, "Coach, that was my bad. I screwed it up. I peeked inside, and he was able to bounce outside, and that was my bad." And we had two seniors come over and say that. I don't even know if both of them were wrong, but they were both trying to take responsibility because they knew that it was on their side, and they'd rather take responsibility than having a younger guy get talked to about it. So they could maybe coach him up and say what they'd like him to do. So I think hopefully that answers your question, but I think little things like that where the old guys take responsibility and want to say, "I'll take care of it," is kind of what's helped us go in a really nice direction that we're in right now.
Coach, we wish we had you in studio tonight, but I love Zoom so much at this point. We can just ask you to do anything at this point, and you don't have to respond, but thanks for coming on tonight.
I appreciate it, fellas. I appreciate all the coverage you give us, and you guys do an awesome job. Thank you very much.
Good win tonight, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. All right, well, staying with the KCRG crossover theme here, East Buchanan coming off of a Week 1 win. Coach Dan Ritter's debut, East Buck knocked off South Harrison Bulldogs, and tonight they took on Trenton. Well, Battle of the Bulldogs down in Gower tonight. East Buchanan taking on an 0-1 Trenton. 1:20 to go in the first half. East Buck knocking on the door to go up 21-0. They hand it to Blake Ansel, who keeps his legs moving, drives the pile forward on the short yardage score there. East Buchanan takes a 21-0 lead over Trenton at half. Now Trenton Bulldogs looking for a good drive after the break. Guess who makes the tackle? It's Andel. He was all over the place this evening. And on the ensuing drive for East Buck, they hand it to the guy who's been doing it all night. Andel with the carry, couple of moves there, and he scores, has a couple of touchdowns on the night. He leads the Bulldogs to victory, 35-0 over Trenton. And some scores from the other crossovers here. South Harrison defeats West Platte 49-16, and Gallatin beats Hamilton in overtime 32-26.
Boston Cardinals on the road at Lafayette County. Tough night for the Cardinals down there. This is their first game of the season after last week's was canceled due to COVID-19 related issues for the school. And North Platte will travel to University Academy tomorrow morning for the Panthers' Week 2 game.
GRC scores, Putnam County taking on South Shelby. Putnam County with the win tonight in a tight one, 14-12. And Polo at Slater, another close battle. Slater with the 1-point victory, 15-14.
Red River Conference squad Princeton down at Midway tonight. The Tigers getting in the win column, their first win of the season, going to 1-1 with a 38-19 victory. Princeton comes back home next Friday to take on Trenton.
Still to come on football tonight, teams across Kansas kicking off their season this weekend. We'll head across the river to check in on the Riverside Cyclones in their home opener.
And coming up still at the 8-man level, BishopLLU at home for the first time in 2020, hosting North Andrew. Highlights still to come on Football Tonight.
Give it all you got. Take your best shot. Give it all you got. Take your best shot.
Welcome back. The BishopLLU Golden Eagles in year 2 of 8-man football. Last week they ran into a Pattonsburg team who seemed to not lose a step with its high-powered offense. But this week the Golden Eagles at home trying to get the first win of the season. Over at BishopLLU, we go tonight. Golden Eagles hosting North Andrew. Cardinals up 28-12 at the half, and then Carson Thomas Under center, hands off to Hayden Ecker. He finds an opening, taking it to the 25-yard line before being pushed out of bounds, setting the Cardinals up in good field position. Then it's Ecker again. He gets to the ball and he slides into the end zone. Cardinals going for 2 just after this touchdown. And guess what? It goes right back in the hands of Ecker again. Goes to the outside, dives for the pylon for 2. North Andrew 36-12. LB though looking to get something going, and they do on this drive through the air, getting a couple blockers on this screen, getting into North Andrew territory, and then it's right here on this play. Gardner hands off to Love, bounces to the outside, extends into the end zone for the touchdown. But the Cardinals, they go on to win this one tonight by a final score of 60-20. Stanbury Bulldogs on the road of Albany tonight. Back and forth battle. Stanbury getting the win in a close one, 38-34. Worth County taking on Donovan West out of Kansas. Tigers getting the win, 54-42. Another score to mention as well. Pattonsburg with a big win tonight. They win 68-8 as well.
And the defending 8-man state champions, Mound City Panthers, hosting Stewartsville Osborne Wildcards tonight. First quarter here, no score until Tony Osborne rolls to his right, heaves it up to Landon Papa with the catch, and he goes in untouched. Mound City strikes first tonight. Wildcards trying to answer back. It'll be Cross Bryant who drops back, looks down the field, and Braxton Gibson sees it in. Wildcards in business inside the 10-yard line. But here's trouble. Bryant looking downfield, doesn't see Papa, the linebacker. He's spying there, jumps the route. Papa takes it all the way for a pick six. Panthers looking good. Mound City adds another pick six on the Wildcards ensuing drive. They improve to 2-0, get the win 52-0 over the Wildcards tonight. Scores from around the 275 conference. DeKalb at GRC's King City with the win 50-14. South Holt, Nottoway Holt, they take on Southwest Livingston 76-38. Southwest Livingston with the win, 2-0 on the year, plus Rockport and Platte Valley. Platte Valley wins 40-36.
We'll help break down our 8-man football coverage. Now we're bringing Devin Albertson sitting in his car again because that's what Zoom can do. Southwest Livingston hosting South Holt, Nottoway Holt. Devin, you were down there. This is, do my math right, 2 games in 5 days for Southwest Livingston, getting the victory on Sunday over East Atchison. Turn around, a big win tonight for them too.
Yeah, a huge win for Livingston here. I was really impressed with them up front and really out-bullied South Holt, Nottoway Holt, who did that last week to Worth County. And then in the air, Wes Hughes to Chase Neptune was just a connection over and over in the first half. The Spartans had no answer for it. Livingston, the game got close in the third quarter. It was 1 point. The Spartans pulled within 46-38. Then Livingston scored the last 30 points of the game and got the win there. And Coach Magruder at Livingston made sure I didn't pick against Livingston again. Made sure I had a Livingston hat before I left here in Ludlow. So had to 2 weeks in a row I picked against Livingston. They've proved me wrong both times, so I had to wear the hat here in shame here in my car.
In shame?
Well, I love that Power Cat there, K-State alum myself. But let's talk about Livingston, though. They looked really good against East Atchison last week, getting a big win tonight. Just talk about them and their momentum for the upcoming season or a couple of weeks here.
Well, last year they made the state championship game and ended up losing to Mound City. They lost their best player, Mac Anderson, at graduation, but everyone else who came back, whether it's Wes Hughes at quarterback, Chase Neptune on the outside with Parker Keeney and Patrick Warren, and the guys up front, Jaden Sears played great tonight. The other guys for Livingston from last year are coming up and being the guys this year, and they're going to be forced to reckon with this year. And their next big game is probably Mound City here in a few weeks, and we'll see how they do in week 4 against the Panthers. So that's going to be a big showdown in the 275 here in a couple weeks.
Devin, in 15 seconds or less, real quick, give us a team that maybe surprised you tonight.
Surprised me, I would probably go Platte Valley over Rockport. I know Rockport down a couple of guys due to quarantine, but Platte Valley, they needed that win, 40-36. Good for Coach Beverly over there at Platte Valley.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us. Stay safe out there, and we appreciate your help tonight. Well, we're going to take a look at some other Kansas schools kicking off their season this weekend. And in Wathena, Riverside's initial game was moved and then canceled, but the Cyclones were still able to find an opening opponent tonight. Cyclones hosting Oskaloosa tonight over in Wathena. Riverside striking first in this one. It'll be Kobe Davis out to Braid Davies. Gets a block, almost knocked out of bounds, but stays down the sidelines. Good footwork there. Touchdown Cyclones. They're out to a 6-0 lead early on. Riverside, though, will be getting some help from their defense, doing some things on the other side of the football. But it'll be Oskaloosa trying to move, get some things going. Trevor Willits takes the handoff, but Todrick Duncan meets him immediately and then takes him down. A little bit later, Davis over to Connor Hayes, gets some blocks down the field, and then he is gone. Look at that. 13-0 lead. Riverside goes on to win 50-22.
Over in Hiawatha tonight, Troy making their season debut on the road. Hiawatha, though, getting the win in this one, 23-0. Down in Atchison, the defending Northeast Kansas League champs take on McLeod. Maryville in control in this one right out of the gate pretty much. One of the top running backs in the area in Kansas, Andrew Schwinn. Well, he's going to start this thing off in style and also his senior year in style. Runs down the sideline. No one's going to catch him for the touchdown. Ravens jump out to a quick lead in this one. 12 seniors on this Ravens squad this year, all making an impact in tonight's game. Defense, whatever it is. Andrew Grant Coker making a nice catch, helping his team. Later to score a touchdown. Drew Kyle took over the quarterback for the Ravens, stepping into his brother's shoes. Ravens go to the half, 28-0 lead. They go on to win this one by a final score tonight. As right there, 47-6. Don't go anywhere on football tonight. We'll be right back with our Anderson Auto Group Play of the Week.
Give it all you got. Take your best shot. Give it all you got. Take your best shot.
Well, you voted all week, and this week's Anderson Auto Group Play of the Week comes from Savannah. They didn't play tonight, but check out this toe tap in the back of the end zone from last week's game against Excelsior Springs. Voting for one play of the week begins every Monday afternoon on our website, KQ2.com. Before we go, we need to bring on the voice of the Mid Buchanan Dragons now, Dave Rigger. We have about 2.5 minutes to end the show. You're the voice of the Dragons now, back in the saddle calling high school football tonight. Change of pace, but good to be back.
It was good to be back. It's been a long time. I think the last game that I called was actually the Central Girls when they played down in Independence back in mid-March. So it's been a long time since I've called a game. It was great to be back Friday night, lads. Nothing like it around the country, nothing like it around this area.
Dave, just talk about Mid Buchanan tonight and how they look. They're having some pretty good performances so far to start the year.
They're really good guys. I think I saw your segment earlier talking to Coach Fritz and showing the highlights. They're really good. They've got a talented team. Chris, as you and I talked about during your 6 o'clock sportscast, they're deep, they're talented. They don't have a ton of guys out, but they have guys with lots of experience. And for instance, Jay Vanoy's at quarterback's been a 4-year starter. He had 4 incompletions tonight and 5 touchdown passes. Last week, he had 4 rushing touchdowns. They can do it a lot of different ways. They've got a lot of different players. You guys talked about TJ Runyon earlier. They've got a stable of receivers. Lane Ellison had a big night tonight with a couple of touchdown receptions. So they've got a talented bunch. They're so aggressive on defense. Rollins Brandt had a great game. He had 3 sacks tonight. It's a complete football team that can run, pass, play defense, special teams. They put it all together tonight in a big win against a pretty good Maysville team.
Dave, we've got about a minute left here. Real quick with Jay Vanoy. He's a 4-year starter, like you said. How much is going back to maybe that freshman year where they had some tough losses, took some beatings in that freshman year? How much did that maybe help the maturity level just from him?
It's amazing to watch him play now because he's so calm. He's cool under pressure. Even when he's running, he had a run tonight where he was just kind of meandering his way and trying to find the right hole. And he's calm under pressure. Even if he has to roll out, he can throw well on the run. He's so cool and calm because he's been through it all. With 7 touchdowns tonight, he now has 123 touchdowns in his high school career, and they could play 12 or 13 more games this season. He's been phenomenal his entire career, and he's great, right? He's off to a great start.
Dave, thanks for coming on. Adam, final thoughts?
Just glad to be back in the saddle.
That'll do it for football tonight. We'll be back again, same time, same place next week.